Da-dum, da-da-dum, da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-dum. What does that even mean, Bowers Game Corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review. Today we're excited to check out Cosmic Run from Dr. Finn's Games. This is for 1 to 4 players, ages 14 plus, so it'll take about 30 minutes to play. And in Cosmic Run, you are going to be chucking dice, buying alien race cards, and trying to navigate your rocket ship to a planet before the planet gets destroyed or before someone else discovers the planet. It's a dice allocation game. It's got some cool mechanics. It plays cooperative, it plays solo, and it plays competitive, but does it play well? Let's open it up and I'll tell you. Alrighty then, we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of Cosmic Run. First and foremost, we have our handy dandy rule booklet. It's 24 pages, double-sided, full color. It's got pictures, illustrations, all the stuff you like to see in a well-done rule booklet. 24 pages sounds daunting, but the game is really simple and the rule booklet goes very briskly, so don't let that scare you off. So in Cosmic Run, there's 3 different versions of the game. I'm going to be focusing on the competitive version and talking a little bit about the solo and the cooperative version, but mostly I'm just going to show you how the competitive version of the game works. So in Cosmic Run, what you're going to be trying to do is you're going to be trying to roll the dice, and then you're going to be allocating those dice into a couple different spots. You might use your dice up here to purchase alien cards, which will give you special abilities you'll be able to use throughout the game. You might be allocating your dice right here on these different spots, which I'll talk about later, that will send your rocket ships to discover the planet, at which point you will gain victory points for discovering those planets. Or you might allocate your dice over here on your little card right here, which will give you a special ability you'll be able to use later in the game. This is generally the last place you want to allocate your dice, but I'll tell you more about that later. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to figure out how many players you're going to have, and then you're going to grab this handy dandy little card right here. Because what's going to be happening is while you're trying to race to discover these planets, there is the potential that an asteroid might also hit these planets. And I'll show you real quick how this is going to work. So for instance, in a 2-player game, if all 5 of the planets are active, which means they have not been discovered and they are face up like this, if the 2 red dice you roll are greater than or equal to 7, then whatever the blue dice is, it's going to get hit by an asteroid, which are these ones right here. A planet can take 1 or 2 hits with an asteroid, but if it takes a 3rd hit with an asteroid, then it gets destroyed, and you immediately stop the game and score points. As you can see, the points are going to be right down here. So, for instance, if you were down here at the time, you would lose 6 points, which is bad, obviously. -1, 3, 6, 12, and if you discover it, you'll get 18 points. So, that's how that's going to work. And what you're going to be doing on your turn is you're going to be rolling all 6 of the dice. You're then going to see what's going to happen if a planet is going to get hit by an asteroid. And if you're lucky, a 6 will happen and nothing will get hit. And then you're going to allocate your dice. We'll go over the components, and then we'll get into the gameplay and show you how that works. So component-wise, we went over the boards, we went over the alien cards. You're going to have these little guys right here. These are going to be mining tokens. They will give you victory points. These are between, this is the number 1 and 3, and you will generally earn these by purchasing these red victory, or the red alien cards up here. There are 5 different kinds of alien cards that you can purchase that will do different things. Now, one thing I forgot to mention at the end of this video that I did want to mention is that the graphic design in this game is fantastic. So, for instance, this one right here, all you would need to purchase this card is to put a 6, is to allocate one of your 6s on here. And then throughout, for the rest of the game, you would have this card. You would be able to re-roll 1 die, and you can do it 2 times, as you can see by this number here. Now, when you do decide to use that ability, you flip it over like this, and this lets you know that you have 1 more use of that special ability. Really cool how they use the cards there. This guy right here, he's going to cost you a 5, a 3, and a 1, which is quite a bit. However, this is going to let you manipulate 2 of your dice to either plus or -1. So as you can see, these alien powers will give you various different special abilities that can really help you out on mitigating your dice. Because, as I mentioned, these spots are right here. And how are you going to move the rockets up these spots is by allocating dice there. So this one, all you need is a 1, just a 1. So boom, you can put that there. At the end of your turn, you're going to be able to move up 1. This one is 2 of a kind. It can be any number you want, but it's going to be 2 of a kind. 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind, 5 of a kind. And obviously, getting 5 of a kind just naturally is going to be difficult to do, which is why you're probably going to need to get the alien cards up here. So, you're going to be racing until all of the planets are discovered or until all of the planets get destroyed, any combination of the 2, at which point you will tally up your points and see who has the most points. You're going to score points by flipping over these guys right here, by earning points for discovering different things, and also by collecting sets of the alien cards, because if you have a complete set, if you have one of each of the colors, you're going to gain 15 victory points, which, as you can see, is a good deal of victory points. So there are going to be different ways, different paths to victory, so to speak. Last but not least, on the component front, you're going to have these little tokens right here, which you'll just use to keep track of your victory points. You're going to get a lot of them. You get 1, 2, 25, 10, 5. They give you plenty of those. You don't have to worry about running out of those at all. So let's go through a mock hand, and you can see exactly how the game works. So when you first start it up, you're just going to roll your dice and see what happens. So we have a 1, we have a 6, we have a 7. And since we're just assuming we're playing a 2-player game, even though I only have the rocket set up for a 1-player game, since we have 5 planets active, we did get equal to a 7, which means the blue die would get hit by an asteroid. So now 4, boom, got hit by an asteroid. So now you're going to have to allocate at least one of your die. You can allocate all 6. If you want to allocate all 6 of your die at the same time, you can do that. But for right now, you have to allocate at least one. So let's see what I want to do here. I think I want to get this yellow card up here, so I might place that red die right there. I'd like to move up 1 on this track, and then I'm going to put these 2 guys right here. So I'll also move up on this track right here. And I'm not happy with this 4 or with this 5, so I'll roll again. So I got a 6, and I got another 3. So this kind of stinks. Because one thing I do want to mention right now is that when you place a die down, it is locked in place. This definitely has a push your luck aspect of that. So what I could have done is I could have potentially put these 2 2s right here and then hoped that I rolled another 2 to get the 3 of a kind. But right now I'm kind of stuck because I can't get this card right here because it's going to take me 3 dice. I got a 6 and a 3, so you know what? I'll lock this 3 over here. So this is going to go up 1 on the track. Then I'll roll my final die, and I got another 6, also not very helpful, so I put it over here, which means I will take this yellow card, so I now have this yellow card, so later on in the game I'll be able to re-roll one of my dice. I will reveal a new card out here, which is re-roll 3 of your dice, and you get to do it 3 times, so that's pretty useful. I will move up my rocket ship 1 space right here, and then I'll move my rocket chase 1 space up here, and then it would be the next player's turn, and they would do the same thing. So they would then roll, and since they scored higher than a 7, the 2 would get hit by an asteroid this time, so we put a 1 asteroid right here. They would go about allocating their dice, and so on and so forth. But anywho, you're going to continue going back and forth, trying to score the most points, trying to race yourself up here, because one thing I did want to mention, a ticky-tack rule that doesn't happen too much, though, is if you ever are in a position where you have to lose victory points when a planet is destroyed or discovered, and you can't lose victory points, you lose your next turn, which is a bad thing. Now, solo and cooperative play is different, but they are also very similar. You're still going to be trying to race up rocket ships and all that sort of thing. However, what's going to happen is you're going to earn victory points throughout the game. So you'll actually, at the end of the game, normally you'd be able to trade in your alien cards for sets, for points. However, you're able to do that whenever you want in the solo and cooperative version of the game, and that will get you victory points, these guys right here, and then you can spend victory points to protect different planets so they don't get hit by an asteroid. So even if that number pops up, it's protected. So it adds a unique little twist to the game, but that, in a nutshell, is how Cosmic Run is played. Alrighty then, Cosmic Run from Dr. Finn's Games. What are my final thoughts? Let's go to the pros, let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, the game is not going to be for everybody for a couple different reasons. First reason is that it's 1 to 4 players. It has a very restricted player count, which is a big nuisance to me because I routinely don't get 4-player games to the table, which stinks because this game is great. Spoiler alert. Next, if you did add more players, though, it would add to the time between your turns, which is a little bit longer than you might like, especially when you're playing 4 players, just because there's different things that people are going to be allocating their dice to, and you only have to allocate 1 dice per turn, so you potentially could, roll like 6, 7, 8 times because there's cards that will let you re-roll things, and there's a lot of different ways you can re-roll things based on the alien ability cards or based on your card down here. So I'm just saying that the time between turns is a little bit longer than you might want when you're playing at the high 4-player count. Last but not least, I feel like the game does a great job of mitigating whatever dice roll you do with the alien ability cards. But with that being said, asteroids, especially in the cooperative and solo games, the luck mitigation kind of runs out a little bit because you cannot modify the dice roll of an asteroid at all. And in a multiplayer game, that's not a big deal because everybody has to deal with it. But in a solo and cooperative game, it's slightly different because especially when you first start the game, you're not going to be able to protect those things. So the first turn, one gets hit by an asteroid. And then the second turn, one gets hit by an asteroid. And then the third turn, one gets hit by an asteroid. You don't have any victory points to protect one. Well, then you know what? You've lost the game in 3 turns, which is not fun. So the luck mitigation on asteroids hitting in the solo and cooperative game was something that bugged me a little bit, but it did add some tension to the solo and cooperative game. So that's what I got on the cons, because let me put it this way. Cosmic Run, if you hit less than 4 players, or 4 players or less, this is an absolutely fantastic push-your-luck dice game that I love. I really, really enjoy this game. And so why do I like it? First and foremost, I love games that I can bring out in different situations. And this one definitely fits that bill. Solo plays, it's really fun solo. It's enjoyable. It's a quick, nice little dice game. You get it set out, you get your ships, and then boom, 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 you're on your way. And it's a good deal of fun solo. Cooperative, I really liked it cooperative. Now, I did like it best 2 players as opposed to 4 players because I feel like the competitive version of the game is the way to go if you have 4 players. But that being said, cooperative is a good deal of fun, even though it is pretty difficult if you get bad dice rolls, as I mentioned as one of the cons. Moving onward, competitive version is very, very fun. It's quick, it's easy to learn, it's easy to teach, it's approachable. This is not going to scare anyone. I mean, once everybody understands what symbols are on the alien ability cards and the fact that you can collect those sets to get victory points at the end, it's a very simple game. I would say that this is something that you could probably bust out as a gateway game, which is always a good thing. I enjoy the artwork, I enjoy the theme, I enjoy the components. Just everything about this game shows quality. You see this on the shelf, you would not guess that this is a Kickstarter game, which is always a good thing. So overall, Cosmic Run is one I highly, highly recommend, and the only thing really holding it back for me is the fact that it's 4 players, but for you, that might be freaking perfect. So, Cosmic Run from Dr. Finn's Game, outstanding, highly recommended. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on the subscribe button down below and in the comments below. Let me know, would you like to go to space? Let's just say they make it so you can go to the moon and you can spend 5 days there. And that's what you would do on your vacation. Would you rather have, say, a dream vacation to somewhere else, or would you rather go to the moon? Me personally, I'd rather go to the moon just because it'd just be cool to go to the moon. I mean, really, do I need a reason? It's a freaking moon. Who doesn't want to go to the moon? I'm sure you might not. If you don't, let me know in the comments below. Let me know how stupid I am. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.